The Republican Party, like its Democratic counterpart, has seen its fair share of controversy throughout American history. While some members have been celebrated for their leadership, others have left behind a legacy of corruption, scandal, and controversy. This video explores 10 of the most shocking, scandalous, and infamous episodes involving Republican politicians, from bribery and backroom deals to racism, treason, and abuse of power. Number 1. Warren G. Harding's administration, a cesspool of corruption. Warren G. Harding, the 29th President of the United States, is remembered more for his scandal-ridden administration than for his leadership. Even Harding himself admitted, "I am not fit for this office and should never have been here." The most infamous scandal was Teapot Dome, where Secretary of the Interior Albert B. Fall secretly leased U.S. Navy oil reserves in Wyoming and California to private companies in exchange for bribes totaling $400,000, equivalent to over $6 million today. Fall became the first U.S. cabinet member ever sent to prison. Harding's Attorney General Harry Daugherty was also implicated in corruption schemes, including taking bribes from bootleggers during Prohibition. Meanwhile, Harding himself hosted illegal poker games at the White House, where alcohol was secretly served. Harding was also known for extramarital affairs, most notably with Nan Britton, who later claimed he fathered her daughter Elizabeth. A 2015 DNA test confirmed her claim. On August 2, 1923, Harding died suddenly in San Francisco. Officially, it was a heart attack, but persistent rumors suggested he was poisoned, possibly by his wife, Florence Harding, who allegedly discovered his infidelities. Number 2. Richard Nixon and the Watergate Scandal. Richard Nixon, the 37th President of the U.S., remains infamous for Watergate, a scandal that led to his resignation. On June 17, 1972, 5 men were arrested breaking into the Democratic National Committee's headquarters at the Watergate complex in Washington, D.C. Investigations revealed that they were connected to Nixon's re-election campaign, CREEP, and had been attempting to install wiretaps. The Nixon administration desperately tried to cover up its involvement. In a secret recording, Nixon infamously ordered his aides, "I don't give a what happens, I want you to stonewall it, let them plead the Fifth Amendment, cover up, or anything else." By July 1974, the U.S. Supreme Court forced Nixon to release White House tapes proving his role in the cover-up. Facing almost certain impeachment, Nixon resigned on August 8, 1974, becoming the only U.S. president to do so. Number 3. Spiro Agnew, the vice president who took bribes in office. Spiro Agnew was the first U.S. vice president to resign in disgrace due to criminal activity. While serving as governor of Maryland, 1967 to 1969, Agnew accepted cash bribes from construction firms in exchange for state contracts. Shockingly, even as vice president, 1969 to 1973, he continued to receive envelopes stuffed with cash, sometimes in the White House itself. A Justice Department investigation uncovered his long history of corruption, forcing Agnew to resign on October 10, 1973. He pleaded no contest to tax evasion and was fined only $10,000, avoiding prison despite his blatant criminal behavior. Number 4. Jesse Helms, the face of old-school racism. Jesse Helms, a 5-term senator from North Carolina, 1973 to 2003, built his career on fierce opposition to civil rights, racial integration, and progressive social policies. Before entering politics, he was a television commentator known for railing against the civil rights movement, which he called a communist-inspired hoax. Once in the Senate, he actively fought against desegregation and voted against the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Helms was one of the most vocal opponents of making Martin Luther King Jr. Day a federal holiday, filibustering the bill for over 16 hours in 1983 while accusing King of communist ties. His 1990 re-election campaign against Harvey Gantt, a black Democrat, was marked by one of the most racist political ads in U.S. history. The infamous Hands ad showed a white man crumpling a rejection letter while the narrator stated, "You needed that job, but they had to give it to a minority." Helms also opposed U.S. sanctions against apartheid South Africa, defending the white minority government and dismissing efforts to end racial oppression as outside interference. Despite widespread criticism, he remained politically untouchable in North Carolina, serving until his retirement in 2003. Even in his later years, he refused to apologize for his racist record, insisting he had never been against black people, a statement contradicted by nearly every action he took in his political career. Number 5. Donald Trump's endless legal and ethical scandals. Donald Trump is one of the most legally embattled figures in American political history, with a career marked by scandals, lawsuits, and impeachment trials. Even before entering politics, he was involved in numerous legal troubles, including fraud at Trump University, which led to a $25 million settlement in 2016, and financial misconduct at the Trump Foundation, which was shut down in 2019 after being caught misusing charitable funds for personal and campaign expenses. As president, 2017 to 2021, Trump was impeached twice, first in 2019 for pressuring Ukraine to investigate his political rivals and again in 2021 for inciting the January 6 Capitol riot. That riot resulted in 5 deaths, over 140 injured police officers, and became the largest FBI criminal investigation in U.S. history. His presidency also faced multiple accusations of sexual misconduct, with at least 26 women alleging inappropriate behavior. One of the most infamous moments came in 2016 when a leaked Access Hollywood tape from 2005 caught Trump bragging, "When you're a star, they let you do it. Grab 'em by the pee." His business dealings have also been under intense scrutiny, including allegations of tax fraud and foreign financial entanglements. Despite his numerous legal troubles, Trump remains a dominant figure in the Republican Party and continues to seek political office while facing multiple criminal indictments. Number 6. Joe McCarthy's communist witch hunt. Senator Joseph McCarthy orchestrated one of the most infamous political witch hunts in American history, using fear, paranoia, and baseless accusations to destroy lives and careers. In 1950, he claimed he had a list of 205 communists working in the U.S. State Department, though no such list ever existed. Over the next 4 years, his Senate Subcommittee on Investigations targeted alleged communists in government, Hollywood, universities, and even the military, leading to thousands of Americans losing their jobs, being blacklisted, or being forced to publicly denounce colleagues to avoid suspicion. His reign of terror ended in 1954 during the Army McCarthy hearings, when attorney Joseph Welch publicly humiliated him on live television with the now legendary rebuke, "Have you no sense of decency, sir, at long last? Have you left no sense of decency?" The moment shattered McCarthy's credibility, turning public opinion against him. In December 1954, the Senate officially censured him, and he died in disgrace in 1957, likely from complications related to alcoholism. Number 7. Mark Foley's congressional page scandal. Mark Foley, a Republican congressman from Florida, 1995 to 2006, built his career as a champion of child protection laws, yet he was secretly sexually harassing teenage congressional pages. In September 2006, ABC News revealed dozens of emails and text messages Foley had sent to young male pages, many of them sexually explicit, soliciting nude photos and proposing secret meetings. The scandal erupted just weeks before the 2006 midterm elections, contributing to a devastating Republican defeat as voters punished the party for covering up Foley's misconduct. House leadership had known about his behavior for years but failed to take action. Foley resigned on September 29, 2006, avoiding criminal charges, but his political career was permanently destroyed, and he disappeared from public life. Number 8. George W. Bush's Iraq War deception. President George W. Bush led the U.S. into one of the most disastrous military interventions in modern history, the Iraq War, 2003 to 2011, based on false intelligence. In 2002, his administration insisted that Saddam Hussein possessed weapons of mass destruction, WMDs, and posed an imminent threat, using this claim to justify an invasion. No WMDs were ever found, but the war resulted in over 4,500 U.S. soldier deaths, an estimated 500,000 Iraqi deaths, and a financial cost of over $2 trillion. The war destabilized the Middle East, created a power vacuum that fueled the rise of ISIS, and severely damaged America's international reputation. Bush later joked about the missing WMDs at a White House correspondents' dinner, saying, "Those weapons of mass destruction have got to be somewhere." The remark was widely condemned as grotesque, considering the immense human cost of the war. Number 9. Paul Manafort, Trump's criminal campaign chairman. Paul Manafort, Donald Trump's 2016 campaign chairman, became one of the key figures in the Trump-Russia collusion investigations due to his deep financial ties to pro-Russian Ukrainian oligarchs. A longtime Republican lobbyist, Manafort secretly funneled tens of millions of dollars through offshore accounts, evading taxes while using the money to fund an extravagant lifestyle, including luxury real estate, designer suits, and a notorious $15,000 ostrich leather jacket. In 2018, he was convicted on 8 counts of fraud and sentenced to 7.5 years in prison. His conviction was one of the most significant in special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 election. However, in 2020, Trump pardoned Manafort, erasing his sentence despite overwhelming evidence of corruption. His case remains one of the most blatant examples of high-level political corruption in modern U.S. history. Number 10. Dennis Hastert, the Speaker turned convicted child molester. Dennis Hastert, the longest-serving Republican Speaker of the House, 1999 to 2007, was exposed in 2015 as a serial child molester. Before his political career, Hastert worked as a high school wrestling coach in Illinois from 1965 to 1981, during which he sexually abused multiple teenage boys. To cover up his past crimes, Hastert later paid over $1.7 million in hush money to one of his victims. The payments came to light during an FBI investigation, and in 2016, he was sentenced to 15 months in prison. Although he was never charged with sexual abuse due to the statute of limitations, his trial revealed the full extent of his crimes. Judge Thomas Durkin labeled him a serial child molester who violated the trust of countless young boys. Hastert remains the highest-ranking U.S. politician ever convicted in a sex abuse scandal, making his case one of the most horrifying political disgraces in American history.